At BMO Financial Group, we're one of the large Canadian financial services providers that the businesses I specifically lead are the Mergers and Acquisitions Group, M&A, BMO Capital Corp, which is the private equity subordinated debt team within the bank, sponsor coverage, and also cross-border. So we have people in Montreal, Toronto, Chicago, Calgary, and Vancouver. When you're in an organization that has been in existence for 200 years, there's a lot of success built up in that organization, so there's a lot of legacy. If we go back a year or so ago, the team was performing well, but it was clear that there was more potential within the team itself. The team is it's a very committed team. Everyone, is hardworking. They're, a bright crowd. Everyone was quick learners. They were skilled. We had a lot of diversification within the team. As a group, we were doing really well, but there was more that we could do. We just weren't able to take it to the next level at that point. The team was out of balance. There were compromises being made, and one of the senses I took away that some of the personal sacrifices or family sacrifices people were making for the office was leading to a negative mindset at times. And the team is a younger team, have young families, and it's a very demanding environment on the personal side. So I thought if we could strike a better balance between the two, and a lot of the things that we've done since was trying to improve quality of life in everyone's daily routines. So we were trying to make a work-life balance better. I think one of the things that I really wanted to do was improve the engagement, the employee engagement, and also to elevate the team's performance relative to peers. When you looked at the market opportunity that was presented, it was, to me, a great time that if we were able to take our performance to another level, we could establish ourselves as the dominant player in the market. From an efficiency point of view, we were very efficient at what we did. As far as effective in achieving our goals, we had work to do. And I think from a team perspective, having a little more clarity around what they wanted personally, what they were dealing with at the family, and then trying to balance it with the corporate goals was essential. And I think when people understood that that was sort of part of our program, that we were really trying to find a balance, and if we were to find the right balance, it would allow us to elevate the performance at all three levels, the corporate, family, and personal. From the day we started, the first exercise after everyone had been through the curriculum was to really set goals. And I don't think the goals we set then were incremental. They were tough, big goals. It was probably 4 months into it, and prepping for the 4 months into sort of the process that we were going, I asked everyone to provide me with some feedback on a confidential basis. And some of the stuff I got was really life-changing on a personal and family level from people. That it wasn't just the financial success of the group now that I could celebrate, it was some of the personal accomplishments and where people had made fundamental changes in their lives, that they were talking about being better spouses, being better parents, looking at their kids, that their kids were going to be more successful because of some of the change they'd gone through. I think that was some of the stuff that was more meaningful. On the corporate side, financial metrics, we're doing very well financially. We're ahead of aggressive plans. If we look at sales pipelines, our sales pipelines are very deep. If I look at our brand is built in the market. I think when we compare ourselves to peers, we are taking a leadership position. The feedback we get from the market itself is very positive. And I think people are starting to wonder what is going on within our business that we're having so much success. And we have a lot of metrics across a lot of different types of areas, whether it's culture of the group, or our sales pitches, sales meetings and all that. And when you look at all those metrics, we are really outperforming. So if we were to compare it year over year, what we'd accomplished was dramatic we did a 13-week assessment of the business. And in one of the lines of business, in 13 weeks, we had accomplished more sales pitches than we had in the prior fiscal year. When I look at some of the achievements that we've had on a financial, sales, it truly has been differentiated from the prior year. I think everyone in the team has to participate to be truly effective. So we had a high level of engagement from all levels. When you looked at the accountabilities, we divided it up throughout the whole organization. So it wasn't just the leadership level that was championing, initiatives. Everyone had to take on some of the responsibility. And I think once everyone took on that level of responsibility and we all started holding each other accountable, the level of commitment came up. And when you look at the level of commitment in the team, no one wanted to let down the rest of the team. So everyone who was championing an initiative was really striving to do it as best they could. And I think what ended up happening is instead of individual performance, collectively they started to share. And best practices were shared across the different initiatives, that it allowed someone to come up with a great idea and then others to leverage off of it. And because of that, it started to again build the team element, that the level of collaboration that we saw just started to grow as we went through the process itself. There was a much higher level of goal orientation. People are very precise on goal setting. I think the other thing that we do much better is stretch goals. So when we first started the process, people would try and set goals or targets that were easily reached. And if you pushed, it would go a little harder than that. But it wasn't really asking for monumental change. I think people are much more comfortable being uncomfortable in the team. So when you start to look at the goal setting, I think people understand the process itself. If you really set stretch goals, we'll try and then figure out how do we actually accomplish that. When I started the program, the first group that went through was more at the leadership level. In 2020, looking back, I think ideally I should have taken from different levels within our team. The other thing I think I would like to do is get people through faster. Because one of the things that you realize when you come away from the program, you're in a mindset that's different than the rest. And trying to communicate it to people that haven't been through the curriculum, they can't identify with it. So to me, the faster you can get everyone through the curriculum, the better, because it allows you to have a common content in the office and everyone understands where you're trying to move the business. So when I look at it now, the thing that I don't have to motivate the team with or convince them of is that the curriculum will work. We're seeing the examples of that and we're seeing the benefits. So now it's constantly to push people to go further, test themselves, challenge themselves, get uncomfortable. So we're always trying to go further and achieve more and elevate our performance. And that is one of the big things that's fundamental now. I think one of the things I hope is that what we've accomplished in our team will help infect others within our organization, and that some of what we've accomplished then starts to bleed into the rest of our organization. And there's efforts at times to try and create levels of communication that we idea share, or we bring new concepts, or when we've accomplished something, that when we celebrate it, others get to see what that celebration is. And I think people start to talk. So if I was to say one of the things that I would kind of hope to see out of it as well is that we do start to influence the bigger piece.